Hey everybody, it's your girl Bunny. To all of my returning subscribers, hey, how you doing? And for those of you who are new to the channel, welcome. Kick your feet up, subscribe to this family-friendly channel, and don't forget to click the notification bell so you don't miss any posts. Also follow me on Instagram at the same profile name so you don't miss the sneak peeks of what's coming up next. In this video is the final season, episode 2, entitled After a Period, Peace Blooms. I give a full episode recap with photos offset to the side, and then I give my review at the end. No need to dig around. I keep all of the minute marks in the comments. It's all coming up next. Vi is frantic, looking for documentation and files. She doesn't believe Sam, and Betty wouldn't do that type of thing. She was her good friend growing up, and she's a good person. She would never allow Sam or her daughter to do that to us. Hollywood reminds her that that was a long time ago, and people change. She is still Parker's mother. When was the last time you even saw her? Vi wants to find her and speak to her directly. Nova, Micah, and Ralph Angel look at old videos of their parents showing names in the family Bible. They need to get the tapes digitized before the footage is lost forever. Ralph is an emotional wreck, just thinking about potentially losing the farm. Nova wants Ralph to stay strong. Dominic invited members of the Historical Preservation Society to review the information. She's even reached out to the living descendants of the massacre. When everyone joins shoulder to shoulder at the city council meeting, they can stop Parker and Sam. It's an eerie sight. The Bordelon land, now their home, boarded up, reclaimed by the Landry Enterprise. Mr. Stevens shares powerful photos that have impacted social awareness. Along with Kiki's help, they were able to associate a photo with NFTs to profit over $100,000. He donated the profits to help with the progression of Black lives. The value of an image. Was that dollar amount worth more than the photo? Did that photo bring peace to a grieving family? The details of NFTs can be discussed later, but now they need to cover the basics. What's an NFT? NFT stands for non-refundable token. It's a one-of-a-kind digitized piece of art stored online, an online secured blockchain. Artists buy and sell NFTs all the time to make a living, but the value of your art comes from you, the photographer. All you have to offer as an artist is your perspective. Show me you, the world through your eyes. The first NFT was minted May 3rd, 2014. After class, Micah is so intrigued with more questions. How does one upload an NFT? He learns that NFTs are uploaded via aggregator sites who have access to top bidders, collectors who are willing to pay top dollar. He knows a guy from Kiki, Zayn. He even begged him for a while to upload more material. He will connect Micah with Zayn, but he warns, Zayn can be kind of slippery, but he has the confidence that Micah can handle him. Hollywood teases Prosper that he heard that he finally asked Sandy out on a real date. Prosper is a little worried though. Sandy has been to every nice restaurant in town, and he doesn't have any ideas of where to go or what to do. The first date is so special. Hollywood wants to help. What does she like, or where does she like to go? Prosper says that she loves Jamaica, but he can't afford a trip like that. Hollywood lets him know that he can afford the real spot. They can set it up and have it feel like an island getaway with Jamaican food and music. Prosper loves the idea and coins the experience Jamaica St. Joe. Hollywood speaks on how love is an investment and it takes a moment to find your better half. Prosper misses Claire. She was his better half. He never thought he would have to look for love again. Back in the day, you didn't need to be flashy. All you needed was yourself. And Hollywood assures it's still like that. Being yourself is very important and it never goes out of style. Mo and the rest of the family take a stroll on the land. They've been rotating their crops, and Mo invites the idea of aeroponics. It uses leftover water and uses mostly air. It uses the same fluidity as the Carver method. You just need the right nutrients. That technique helped their land double their yield in 1 year. She gives the family seeds as a gift from her land, her mother's land. Plant it and save the seeds so it can be passed down from one generation to the next. She hopes that they bring them luck that they'll need during the council meeting. They've come a long way. Nova offers more and to visit over a drink. An interview to inspire farmers. Billie continues to ignore calls from Vince. Without knowledge of her surroundings, Parker pops up. She says the last time that she did that, the person calling her watched her ignore the call from a cafe across the street. Billie is happy that the person is in Chicago and Parker gloats that hers is in New York. So they both should be safe. The laugh confirms the calm mood. Who we know as Parker is pretty transparent. She goes on to say that when she kept ignoring those calls, it didn't end well. She even says, make that call. It will be hard at first, but it'll all be worth it. Billie introduces herself, but Parker introduces herself as Imani. It's pure deception of identity. After Parker walks away, Billie gets another call from Vince, but she's still conflicted on whether she should answer. Joaquin brags about selling out all of the pies, in which he added his special touches. Vi has a hard time accepting that her original recipes may want a new spin just for the customers. As a challenge, she offers to work as a team to make a Jamaican feast for Prosper in Hollywood. She wants an update of how his mother is doing, and by the body language, anyone can tell that something isn't right. He says that everything is okay, but Vi can tell that that's obviously a lie. Nova learns that most family is both African and Native American, depending on who you ask. Both sides have opinions. Either you're not black enough or Indian enough. All she ever wanted to do was take care of the land. Nova thanks Mo for the seeds that she gave her family. It's amazing how Africans used to hide rice in their hair to remind them of home and to keep foods there. A lot of plants and foods exist in America because of those women. Mo tells the story about how natives were begged by white men for seeds in Oklahoma. When the natives collectively decided to share their seeds, the seeds would never grow for the white man. The seeds needed the soil from where they came from. It's a deep, symbolic, true story. Dominic texts Nova to let her know that he met with the Historical Society and the meeting went well. Fingers crossed. Mo is curious about Nova's personal life. Is she attached or is she looking? And Nova gives a broad answer saying that not at the moment, he's out of town, and Mo hints that she's still looking for someone special. After the brief flirting, Nova and Mo get back to the interview, questions concerning the co-op. Micah admires photos, and he wants to show his professor some of his photos for the art show later that summer. The teacher is impressed at Micah's work, and Micah wants to know if he can get his permission to be a part of the art show. He learns that it's not up to him. He should talk to Kiki. She is the curator. Micah is pleasantly surprised and knows now that she is the boss. Miss Parthena filed for an extension on her mortgage over 3 months ago, and Mr. Miller claims that she never gave him such documentation. He sarcastically requests a receipt from her, and she reminds him that she's never received a receipt from him in over 35 years of his services. Darla explains that Miss Parthena's USDA funds have not come in yet, and that's why she's late. Another employee next to Mr. Miller observes the conversation, as Mr. Miller adds that her funding has not yet come in because of a pending case from white farmers. He thinks it's unfair that people receive things because of their race. That's reverse racism. Billie clarifies that that case is concerning USDA loans, not extensions. Mr. Miller adds on the insults that he can make this matter go away by one of two options: selling her land to some good friends of his or pay the $25,000 within 48 hours. When their meeting is over, Darla notices the other employee that listened to their entire conversation and pleads if there's anything that he can do to help. Unfortunately, he says with true sincerity, "I wish I could, but it's not my case. Miller takes all of the black farmers." Darla knows that Mr. Miller is slowing down the clock to postpone the process. The gentleman extends his only method of help, his card, for Darla to call him. He can't speak freely at work. Apparently, Mr. Miller's files always get lost. He said 48 hours, but if they can come up with the money, the matter should be taken care of. He even saw him speaking with the sheriff. He warns to be careful because Miller is not to be trusted. Prosper confirms to Nova that the speculation about Roy Miller is true. He has never been a fan of black farmers. Nova finds it very interesting that Miller's name comes up a lot during her interviews. Is he the only representative for the USDA? Darla says that he is, and Miss Parthena distinctly remembers placing the extension information in his hands. First it was Ralph Angel, now this? If she doesn't come up with the money, she could lose her land. She could lose her farm. Ralph suggests that if everyone pulls together money from their settlement money and a little bit more, that they can help her keep her farm. He knows that everyone can help. Micah finally meets Zayn at Ivory NFT. Micah is quickly impressed by the ambiance of the company, and Zayn starts off the conversation well. He's been a friend of his dad's since he was drafted. Ivory NFT has prints of arts on the wall, but the crust of their art is stored in the blockchain. Their staff even consists of some overprivileged persons who deal with cryptocurrency. Although whatever the staff expertise, or no matter what department, you have to sell and fast, or you're considered dead weight. Everyone has to be great at what they do and know the art to sell NFTs. Micah wants to be a part of the team, and Zayn requests for Micah to send over some of his work. Sam and Parker look on as it seems the entire parish turned out. Parker points out that they actually think the numbers will make the difference, but it takes more. She just wants Sam to allow her to do her job. Vi can't believe how Parker is behaving. Her mother wouldn't have wanted this to happen. Parker smears that even telling Violet that she has no clue what her mother would have wanted. Vi warns her to watch her tone as she's speaking to an elder. Sam taunts that he hopes that they're ready for the council's verdict. It won't go in their favor. Vi tells him that over time, there's been a lot of things not in their favor. Her people are still there. They're fighting and they're never giving up. He should know that by now. The council announces that they're ready to vote on the proposal from Landry Enterprises to build an outlet mall on their land. This would mean that the demolition would be built on a historical landmark. Speaking for the opposition is Nova Bordelon. They will hear from her now. Nova begins. The land is the final resting place for the victims of the Thibodeau massacre. It's also my home, our ancestors' home. When Nova makes that statement, the black farmers behind her stand up in representation. We need to allow them to rest in peace. The land was marked as a historical landmark by the state. It's only right that the council respects that decision and not to ignore it for greed. If we do not honor our past, we dishonor our future. Thank you. Now it's Miss Campbell's time to speak. As she approaches the council, Billie is shocked that the so-called Imani is Parker. She realizes the deception at the grocery store. Parker goes on to share that she has ancestors buried on her land. She too shares the pain of her people. She suggests that her ancestors deserve a proper burial. Her mother gave her a locket and told her to always remember her ancestors, and she's doing so. She agrees with Miss Bordelon that we must honor the past and the future. Parker even begins to cry. The development will provide jobs and boost our weak economy. It will be an honor to bring that to her mother's hometown. Thank you. A member of the council speaks his piece and says St. Joe needs a financial lift. After COVID, they need to get back on track. He moves for the vote. Those in favor of keeping the historical landmark, raise your hand. And there's one vote. All in favor of removing the landmark and beginning the Landry development, raise your hand. And the rest of the council votes in favor. When the gavel is dropped, the room falls silent and the motion is approved. The development will move forward and the meeting is adjourned. To make matters worse, Parker mouths to Billie, "Did you call him?" Nova grabs Parker and demands to know, "What's wrong with you?" Parker wants Nova to understand that it's over and it's time to move the bones, or we will. Move on. Nova doesn't take that defeat and whispers to Ralph, "This isn't over." Hollywood wants Vi to know that it's time to rest up, reflect, and come back for battle another day. They have to take care of themselves. They fantasize about taking the boat to sea and enjoying the sun, the sound of the waves, and each other's presence. Even in the worst times, they have to remember that they have blessings. Micah reviews some of his work but is interrupted by Zayn at the door. Zayn brings wine and compliments his place and sense of style. Micah is then eager to get straight to questions. How does one upload NFTs? Can he get started right away? But Zayn doesn't want to talk about work. He wants Micah to just relax while they review his photos. Zayn thinks that the photos are hot, and if one of the men in the photos is Micah's boyfriend. Micah says no kindly, and Zayn says that he would be interested in his work, although his work may not sell the first time around, so don't get discouraged. He tells Micah that he will show him the ropes. Billie shares that she can't believe Parker introduced herself as Imani. It was just weird. Plus, she can't even call her hubby back. She's afraid of everything. Nova remembers when Billie used to talk about being a lawyer all the time growing up. What happened to that? She can still be a lawyer. She should stop thinking and just do it. Billie says that Nova needs a new catchphrase. Family, babies, and marriage took up a lot of her time. Life just took a turn. Despite that, Nova can't stop thinking about the council's decision, and maybe they should have a protest on their land. Billie uses Nova's own saying, replying, maybe you should stop thinking and just do it. Micah is greeted with a round of applause at Ivory NFT for selling one of his photos for the first time at 10K. He's welcomed with open arms from team members, and Zayn weirdly says to Micah while grabbing his face, remember, you're only as good as your last sale. It's time for the big reveal, and Prosper shows Sandy the amazing Jamaica getaway. She's so surprised and grateful that he went above and beyond for such an awesome surprise. Even Vi and Hollywood share their playful Jamaican accents, presenting a menu full of Jamaican cuisines. Prosper lets Sandy know that he knew she loved Jamaica but couldn't afford to take her there. Instead, he wanted to imagine that they were there instead. She's so happy and loves the date, and they finally share a kiss that has lingered in their hearts. Ralph Angel sits with True, and she couldn't sleep, so he showed her a video of her grandparents. Darla loves the view and joins the relaxation and wonders how Prosper's first date went. He was so nervous. They reminisce about their first date and how they went to this fancy restaurant only to later get fried catfish and eat it by the lake, the same place where Ralph Angel proposed. That good feeling is interrupted by Prosper. He has bad news. The sheriff, along with other officers, are forcing Miss Parthena out of her home, placing things outside. The bank wants the home boarded up, and anything left inside the house goes to auction. Hollywood and Prosper rush to remove her things. Then Darla arrives with the mortgage extension papers. They only need one more day, but the sheriff doesn't listen. He just follows the orders that he's given, he says. And the orders are to make sure that she is removed from the house. She can't help but to cry into Vi's arms. What am I gonna do? I have no place to go. Vi assures that everything will be okay, and she's not in this alone. Ralph tells Darla to get back in the car with the baby while he calms Miss Parthena. And that is the end of the episode. And now it is time for your favorite part of the video. That's right, my review. So with this episode 2, it is gearing up the fire, right? As you listen to my previous review, I said that for this final season, we will need closure on a lot of the storylines. A lot of the time in writing, writers expect the audience to do one of two things: to be introduced to plots, and as the seasons go along, hopefully the audience will forget certain plots. That way they don't have to revisit it and close that, because that's a lot of writing. We have a lot of different sets of people within this show who have several different storylines. So to continuously try to revamp that, revisit it, talk about it, and you only have an hour, and we're not even talking about the time allotted for commercials, that is very, very difficult to do. So the fact that they're keeping everything in order and they're speeding it up a little bit for episode 2, is a wonderful thing. We're starting to get into the crusts of why a lot of motions, a lot of historical landmarkings, a lot of the systemic racism that's behind a lot of these laws that are passed, we're seeing that in theatrical form. People trying to hold their land, people who have rights to the land, but when it comes to money, when it comes to people of power, a lot of times that can be overdrawn, right? So with this episode, we see Nova makes the note that it's already been a final decision by the state that this area has been categorized as a historical landmark. Yet the council was able to take a vote when it came to the Landry enterprise and building their area on the land. It only was one person that said that they, were not in favor of building on this historical landmark. So it only leads me to guess that were members of the council bribed. If they weren't bribed, then they probably really believe that this landmark, that this mall will bring more money to the area. If you've ever studied economics, if you've ever studied finance, yes, a lot of the time development will bring jobs, will bring more people to that area. But you also have to think about, you're bringing that in already into a poor area. Who can afford it? Who can afford what's been brought there? People going to come from far and wide just to go to this mall. It's a lot of sticky tape when it comes to what is beneficial and what's going to bring more business. It's this what's glitter all the time, what glistens isn't always gold. It's one of those situations about, has anyone talked to members of the council? And if so, are they coming to this conclusion by themselves? Have they seen any projected numbers about what it will bring to their economy? Because St. Joe was doing fine pre-pandemic on the show. Small businesses were doing well. People were getting accustomed to their land. The only battle was the hurricane and the weather. This is stuff that can't be predicted, right? These are natural events, natural causes that nobody has the power to stop. Okay, so before that, St. Joe wasn't doing bad. It's a small town. Small businesses are doing well. Families are there. It's this tradition of farmland. And I don't think this outlet mall is really going to do anything for the Black or the white farmers. What's needed is a co-op to give people the rights to the land that they already own, that's legally theirs. And also having something in place for the white farmers, but that is their journey. That is their responsibility to bring the proper documentation, to have votes, to speak to council on their own. This co-op with the Black farmers, they're moving forward to get what they deserve when it comes to what's legally theirs. And also ownership, because it belongs to them. Another thing that I thought was interesting in this episode is Mo. I mentioned in the recaps and reviews of last season that I do not trust Dominic. I don't know why. He seemed to be this character that always popped up and it's like, who are you? Where are you from? He meant well. He seemed great. But it seemed for a minute, I predicted that he might have been a mole. He might have been someone who's feeding information to somebody else. I could be totally wrong. Maybe I watched too many murder mysteries and I don't trust any characters. Maybe that's the thing. We also have Mo that's coming into the picture. And I don't know where she stands either. I understand that she's been a part of other co-ops, but we're also bringing in more love interests for Nova. If you've been a fan of this show, you know that she wears her heart on her sleeve. She's very fluid when it comes to who she loves and who she wants, male or female. It can be for a season, it can be for a minute, right? We also have to remember that Calvin is one of these storylines that we've taken a break from. Last season, we had the dynamic with Calvin, the person that she's been with for a minute, who was married and all of that, if you remember from last season. So of course he's going to pop up again because there's a storyline that needs closure. So with each episode, I think it's going to pull everything together in a bow and bring us closure. Now, I'm not 100% sure of how many episodes will be in this season. I try not to look that up because to me, that's kind of a spoiler of what to expect. And okay, I'm watching this and there's only, hypothetically, there's only 3 more episodes to go. So blah, blah, blah. I don't like to do that. I don't even like to bring up information so far as which characters are not in the remaining episodes, because then that tells me a lot, because I can figure a lot about the writing. So I don't know. When it comes to Parker giving the Imani this new persona to Billie, we really have to ask, well, why? Why was she toying with Billie? Has Billie done something to her in the past and she wanted her to feel that punch to the kidney? She wanted her to feel that punch to the gut? Did Billie do something to Parker? Why was she playing that game with her in the grocery store? Hopefully we can get closure on that and why she did it. And then the taunting of mouthing, did you call him? And acting like she really cared, knowing that, hey, yeah, I told you I was somebody else and you didn't even know who I was. I thought that was just like, wow, that was a total slap in the face. With this writing, each season, what I noticed that each show, right, no matter what you watch, everyone has a style of writing. In a lot of episodes of this show, you know that things are always going to take a turn at the very end. It's like this crescendo, right? So I knew something was coming. Queen Sugar has a way of just keeping your emotions, your raw emotions of happiness and sadness. You're going to cry about a lot of stuff. You're going to smile about a lot of stuff. You have the new baby, but then you have the stuff going on with the land and the family's going through much. There's some financial issues, but then you have love between Prosper and Sandy. So it's like this gumbo. It's this mixture of emotions. So by the time the episode is over with, you're happy, but then you're crying at the same time. I'm just really, really interested in know how that's going to go. When it comes to Zayn, right? Who works at Ivory NFT. We already know that this is this snake of deception when it comes to him and Zayn. It really looks like he was coming on to Micah, bringing the wine and really trying to see if he was going to relax with him. But when he saw Micah was really serious about, hey, what are NFTs? How can I be involved? He realized, okay, I really want to be able to kind of push over this situation. Let me act like I like him. I really think, especially with the warning from his teacher, that he should have been more aware. If somebody says to me, be careful, this person is slippery, I'm not going to be interested in working with you. It's okay to do your research, and yes, you have to get your own opinion. But after Zayn would have came by with the wine and, oh, is this your boyfriend? And, oh, just relax and really getting comfortable on the couch, I got a feeling that the situation with Zayn isn't going to work out too great. The fact that he was able to sell for the first time, it's a red flag, big red flag. And the fact that they are trading crypto, they're all in the same corporation. He's saying, oh, that they're privileged. And it's just like, I don't know. It might be some under the table stuff going on, and it won't surprise me if Micah actually sold that photo for more and they're telling him that his share is only 10K. I don't know. Let me know what you think. Like this video, write your comments below. Make sure that you click that notification bell so you don't miss any post. And stay tuned for the final season of the FX original series, Atlanta. That's right. If you need to catch up and you need to binge watch the previous season, you make sure that you watch it. You know I got you. It's in the playlist and it's also located in the description box. Also, stay tuned for the prequel to the original series, Game of Thrones. Make sure that you check out those recaps and reviews. Ready to Love Miami, the dating show, the reality dating show, and season 2 of Bell Collective. If you need season 1 of that, make sure that you check that out. I got you covered. If at any time a new show is coming to a close or you have questions, if I've done the previous season, make sure that you check out the playlist. If you can't find it, make sure to send me a note and I will get back to you. In the meantime, in between time, remember to take care of yourself and each other. Bye.